Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a few minutes to make a video about some new exciting map stuff that we have coming out. One of the biggest requests we've gotten from readers over the years has been to get maps, access to maps, to see kind of how everything's playing out. When we write out these battles, we consult maps and make sure that we know what we're talking about so that we can kind of plan them as realistic exercises. And in order to do that, I've actually, from day one, been using Google Maps to kind of map everything out. And I was talking with a friend of mine today, and I was showing him kind of where all this was coming from, and I realized, wow, you guys might be really interested to see how I use maps when I'm crafting the narrative, when I'm crafting the stories. And then I thought, if we have time, that we'll walk through one of the battles from Monroe Doctrine 5. I know the last time I did a battle recap, I mentioned maybe doing the Battle of Java Sea from Monroe Doctrine 4, but I'm not quite there on that one yet, so I want to show you guys one of the battles from the first battle for Vladivostok from Monroe Doctrine 5. So with that, let's go to the computer. All right, what we're looking at here is a map that I first started working on when James asked me to pitch in on Monroe Doctrine 4. I'd been working on an early version of Advanced to Contact at the time, and so I didn't have much understanding of the Chinese military at all, especially not the modern Chinese military. And then add to that, everything I knew about the Soviet military was from the 80s or the 90s when I was out there in Japan. So I didn't have a very good grounding, and I needed to teach myself an awful lot as quickly as I could. So I wanted to find all of the relevant units that I might be able to draw from. So I mapped all of the Russian units from the Transbaikal area and the Far East. I didn't go all the way out to Kamchatka over here where Petropavlovsk is. And I certainly didn't cover anything in European Russia. I just really wanted the units that were close to the border and ready for the action. And when you look at this, actually one thing I do want to say before we get too far is that if you've been following the maps on my website, and I'll put a link to that in the description, you'll notice that there have been a lot of iterative changes over time. This was the first version. This is what I was using when I was just getting started. And that had me with just these generic markers, and then I would put the information inside it. So it's easy to see that here with the 81st Army Group, and then you see all the subordinate units within that. And that was really cool. That really helped me organize stuff, and it helped me move things around just so I could see, okay, it would make the most sense to me to send the 8th Division, over here to attack. Yeah, boy, I tell you, I just put myself in that, didn't I? Blagoveshek, boy, Brian Lasagna is going to be so annoyed at me for my inability to pronounce that. But let's not dwell on that. So that was kind of the first iteration, and that was really helpful. But then I started trying to make it look a little better by getting some actual military tokens, markers, symbols in here. And these were kind of a pain to develop. I had a sheet that has a whole bunch of different ones, and I would essentially crop to the size of whatever unit I was, and then upload that into Google Maps. And that really definitely gave us a better look. And that's actually why we're going to do Vladivostok after we talk maps generally. So that was kind of iteration 2, and then I actually have the latest iteration is this right here. Now we're able to actually get the add additional detail to the markers, like the unit size. So for example, this is a Marine regiment, so that's 1/8 Marines. And so that's where these things are all heading for these Google Maps. And James has a surprise for some other mapping possibilities. But I did want to kind of shout out this tool. I know you haven't heard from Sam in a while, but he's one of the frontline writers that's been working with me and with James. And he pointed out this program, this application, and it's great for creating those tokens. So if you go there, there's a free version where you can play around with it. It's pretty neat, and it really, I think, is bringing the level up on these diagrams or these battle maps. But okay, yeah, to get back into to how this all evolved, yeah, I went ahead and I created the order of battle for all of China and then the relevant units for the Russians, and that's really how it all started. And from there, it was real, kind of grand strategy. I didn't get into the tactical at first. It was really just, okay, this unit is, going to be in place to, attack Khabarovsk here. These units down here, these are the ones that are going to be attacking, Vladivostok. So that's how we got set up the battles. And so we talked earlier about in a video I did on the Far East battles about what happened with these markers. So essentially what I will do is I'll take this map and I'll make a copy of it and then rename it, name it whatever the actual tactical battle is going to be. So this was Spassk Dolny. That's where they tried to take a stand, and they got pushed back. And the spoiler alert, if you haven't read the Monroe Doctrine 4, I'm not sure why you're watching this video, but yeah, so they lose that and they get pushed, and you know what, with that